Hello, Booktube. Here, high five. Uh, 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 Seriously though, I'm going to do a review right now. Do androids dream of electric sheep? It was a question without a question mark, then it was a question mark, then it turned into Blade Runner. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Okay. Whew. So, we had just watched Blade Runner again about a week ago because we saw the trailer for the new Blade Runner movie that's coming out. It made me think about the book because I remember parts of it, but I don't remember reading it. And the parts that I remember weren't in the movie, and I was getting really tripped out and thought I was just going crazy. So I read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? But when I was researching it beforehand, there were some things I didn't know. One, there was a book called Blade Runner that was, I believe, I haven't read it, but it's like a post-apocalyptic world where healthcare, you have to get black market healthcare, and there's a Blade Runner who takes medical supplies to people on the black market so they could do operations. And then William S. Burroughs then wrote a book based on that was maybe a screenplay called The Blade Runner, a movie. And then whatever producers ended up making Blade Runner, they had optioned the rights for Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but they had also already got the rights for a Blade Runner movie and liked the title, so just took the title from that book and put it on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which I think is just ridiculous. So, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep starts off with Rick Decker and his wife, Erin, doing this thing. It is probably one of my favorite things in the book. It's this mood organ. I can't remember the name of it, but you could dial in any number and have whatever emotion you want. So it's instead of doing antidepressants or something like that, you could do this machine, and that was just such a cool idea. And then the thing about the book that is so different from the movie that I think is really the big driving force of the book is because the world is in a post-apocalyptic state after a nuclear war, which they called World War Terminus. There's this dust radiation that has covered the earth and basically killed off a ton of animals to extinction. And so now owning an animal is a sign of status, and the bigger the animal, the more amazing you are. And this is a big deal to Rick and a lot of the people in the book. Rick, he had a real sheep, but it died, so now he has a robot sheep. Poor people have to have robot animals because they cost a lot less. He's having issues with that. He has issues with his job, which is a bounty hunter of androids. In the book, they're bounty hunters. In the movie, they're Blade Runners. Basically, there are these new and improved androids, and the version of them are the Nexus 6, and 8 of them got to Earth from Mars because of the planet, the radiation. They're trying to get everyone off of Earth to colonize Mars. If you have radiation poisoning of any kind and can't pass a IQ test, you have to stay on Earth. They don't want you on Mars. So a lot of the people like that are called specials. There's a character called Isidore who is a special, and he ends up befriending some of the Nexus 6 models. The other big part about the book that is really a big deal is the religion aspect. There is a religion called Mercerism that pretty much everyone practices, and you have your empathy boxes where you go in, and it's like a virtual reality thing where you could climb up the hill and get rocks thrown at you, like Mercer, who is the Christ of their religion or whatever. Between that and the animals, and why the androids are really on Earth kind of thing, the questions that it raises are what makes you you? What makes a person a person? And it's good. And the whole time I was reading it, I was this is one of the best books I've ever read. Until we get to chapter, it was either 17 or 19. At the end of the book, all this stuff happens that I really don't think is necessary at all to hit home the point of the book. You have your climax, and you have your falling action, and you have your resolution. The resolution could have been handled at 3 different points, I think. and leave you with the same question, maybe even 4 different points. By that time, it just kind of becomes overkill. It got to the point where I was just like, fucking get on with this book already. Come on, just end. And I hate feeling like that. That's like the worst feeling ever. When you're reading a book you really like, and then all of a sudden all you can do is like, you can't wait for it to be over. That should never, ever, ever happen. The other thing that I don't really like about it, I understand why this is done, but I really don't like books where the only way things happen in the book is if the main character is an idiot, or if the main character is stupid, or if the main character is just constantly making bad decisions. I really, really hate that. And I just think it's lazy. I'm guilty of that too sometimes. When you are just annoyed with the main character, the person you're supposed to be following, it makes it really hard to root for them. But with this book, I don't think necessarily you have to root for him. I think at the end of the book, I would expect the feeling you're supposed to have. Who's better? Who cares? Everyone's shit. That's kind of like my perception of it. If the only way you could do that is by doing that, I think it's something. It's the same thing like if you're trying to show how bad and evil the villain is, having them like hit a kid or kick a dog is just so weak. It's like, let's think of the one thing that's gonna make everyone really get mad at this guy. Oh, okay, he's gonna kick a dog. It has nothing to do with the story or anything. He just kicked a dog, so it's fine. So it's kind of like that whole thing. It's almost like being force-fed emotions. Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you like the movie better? Because I used to love Blade Runner. I used to think it was the most beautiful science fiction movies I've ever seen. It's just stunning. But now, the story is so blah in the film, and Harrison Ford's version of Rick Decker is so... Like Keanu Reeves could have played that part. Psh. Thank you. I will be here all week.